Hi and welcome back. So we have reached the second presentation of the second subtopic, which is accelerating innovation while staying compliant. And I'm really happy to have Mölnlycke on stage. And we will be joined by Anders Johansson from Mölnlycke and my colleague from Technia, Smita Bhattacharjee. They will talk a little bit about, or they will talk about the journey they've been on when it comes to implementing a new PLM system, which they thought was more or less needed due to improved requirements, more regulatory complexity, and the increased business complexity and how to manage the product assortments, etc. So really excited to have you on our event. Thanks very much, Anders, and welcome on stage. And Smita, welcome.
Thank you, Rayan. Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to you, Anders, and a warm welcome to all the audience. So, Anders, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. Thank you, Rian, and thank you, Smita and Technia for the invitation. So my name is Anders Johansson, and I'm a mechanical engineer. I worked over 20 years within the medical device sector. I worked both within research and development, but also within regulatory affairs and quality assurance. I work with different devices like dental implants and IVF devices. My current position is as Director of R&D Excellence at Mölnlycke Healthcare. So my team is responsible for some of our key R&D processes, as well as supporting tools, which of course includes our PLM platform, and also we are responsible for our PLM initiative.
So, yeah, Anders, tell us something about Mölnlycke in general and the PLM initiative that you undertook.
So Mölnlycke was founded back in the mid-19th century in Sweden, and right from the early days we supplied gauze to Swedish hospitals. We were quite early adopters of PLM, and we introduced our first PLM software, which was Matrix 1, already around 2000, 2001. We have our headquarters and global R&D located in Gothenburg on the Swedish west coast. And we have 14 manufacturing sites spread globally. We have a quite diverse product portfolio, I must say. It ranges from non-medical devices to pharma class devices. Our medical devices are everything from class 1 non-steroid to class 3. Including electronics and software. So it's quite a challenge.
I mean, as I understand from you, Anders, you already had PLM in place. So what was really the drive and motivation behind implementing 3D experience?
So I can give you some background and scope of our current PLM initiative. So back in 2017, 2018, we, like many companies, recognize we spent more and more resources on maintaining our current product assortment, while we spent less resources on innovation and product development. Together with a growing assortment, new, more demanding regulatory requirements, everyone here is probably familiar with MDR, and new supply chain requirements coming from customers and new markets that we wanted to enter. We really had to take a step back and ask ourselves, are we equipped with the right processes and tools to support us? So to shift the balance between product maintenance and innovation, we decided to focus on the product maintenance part and really try to increase the local site engagement. We wanted to decentralize some of the responsibility for product and process maintenance, and also to better utilize the resources we had at the local sites, but also at headquarters. And to facilitate this change, we really had to take a step back and review and address all the involved processes and tools. So during our review, we of course identified several consequences for our processes and tools, but I will go through 5 of the most important, I would say. First, we really wanted to clarify what do we mean with a product. We wanted to group different devices together, sharing the same technical documentation and master data in a good way. Secondly, we really wanted to redefine our product structure, going from a point of view as manufactured or as shipped, which was our legacy, to a more as built structure. And what I mean with that is a structure that really match what the product looks like when you have it in front of you. Third, we want to facilitate the local engagement at the manufacturing sites. And to do this, we really needed to redefine how we built our bill of materials. So we wanted to split the information into a design or engineering bill of material and into a manufacturing bill of material. I would say the most important change, though, was change control. Our existing change control process was document-based. It was a one-size-fits-all process. And we really wanted to make it scalable depending on change and product type. And we also wanted to utilize a digital change process. And last but not least, we also updated all our master data and the structure we had there and moved some master data to the new product definition we made. We moved some master data to the variant level, so to say, and we even moved some of the master data out of our PLM system and into our ERP system instead. So by doing all these changes, we really wanted to change the mindset of our PLM users from seeing our, the PLM system as a pure document repository and instead see it as an end-to-end solution for the product's lifecycle. Also, the current PLM solution we had in place was quite outdated. It was heavily customized and it required significant resources to maintain. So after some review, we decided to implement 3D experience and license to cure.
And I have to tell you, Anders, I can see a lot of processes that you actually targeted to have in a PLM system. For example, maintaining the product structure, the bill of material, the manufacturing bill of material, as well as the change process. So I'm sure you have something for us that our audience can look into as a sneak peek into the system, right?
Yeah. Yep. So I will show a short demo covering some of the areas that I talked about. So I will see if I can start this here. Just need to find the mouse cursor. There it is. So first I will talk a little bit about design and development controls. And what you have in 3D Experience is design templates. So here you really can define a set of tasks and activities. And you can do it for different types of products. So you see here we have antiseptics, our distributed products, medical devices. But you also can use it for making a template for changes or post-market surveillance or design transfer. What you then can do is to create a design control project using one of these templates, depending on what you're going to develop. So here I will show one. So here is an example of a design control project that I created using one of these predefined templates. And in this design control project or workflow, you have something called bookmarks, which is really a set of folders where you can populate the technical documentation that you create. You can also add members to this workflow. So this is people who will get tasks assigned, for example. And here you have the schedule. So the schedule is really a set of activities. It can be tasks, phases, gates. And this is coming from the template, but of course you can further modify it depending on your needs. Some tasks you can see here is mapped towards something called DHF element, and that is really one of these bookmarks that you have. And I will show a little bit more about that. You can also, in these workflows, you can do your planning. So you can really, per task or phase, you can set the timeline. So you can set the duration, when is the task supposed to start and end, and so on. Each of these tasks you can also assign to the members of the workflow, and I will show that shortly. And the assignment is quite easy. So all the members you have added, you can see here is in a matrix, and you can just click on the different tasks to assign it to an individual. And of course, when someone gets this task assigned, they will get a notification or a task in the system, but also a notification through email. So it's quite easy to see what tasks you have. You can also, as you see here, I mean, you have all the tasks here, and you can really see the status of the different tasks. So as a project manager, you will be able to see the status of your workflow. Now I entered into one of the tasks just to show you, and as this task was mapped towards a bookmark, it requires you to upload a deliverable in order to be completed. And here I have uploaded a record as a deliverable. And when you have uploaded a deliverable to a task and it's mapped then towards an element, that automatically populates the bookmarks. So here you will see that now I have this record in my design plan folder in the workflow. So moving into a new product definition. So as said, we wanted to group our devices that were of the similar type, so to say. So we use the medical device product concept in 3D experience. And here you can also see an example of that we moved some of our master data to this level. So for example, we have applied standards, we have who is the legal manufacturer, intended purpose, use basic UDI, for example. But you will also see that linked to this medical device product, we have all the different variants that belongs to this family. And also, if I go to one of these variants, you can see that you can assign master data on this level as well. For example, dimensions, weight, production responsibility, or EHS data. Going back to the medical device product, I will also show you, you have this bookmark folder structure on the product as well. So either you can look at it as a summary, which means that you will get the latest, greatest of everything. So here you see I have 3 records in my design plan folder. I have the one that I uploaded as a deliverable in the workflow I showed. But I can also look at this on a detail level, and then I see all the different deliverables per workflow, so to say. So here I will really get the change history. So the top workflow here is the one I showed before. So here you see the deliverable I have. So here you have the change history of your design history file or technical documentation. We will also take a look at the product structure that I talked about, and e-boom, m-boom. So as said, we changed a little bit the way we wanted to represent our products and show it more as how it's built, so to say. So it represents what you see when you have the product in front of you. And it's a quite big bill of materials. It takes a while to load it. In 3DX, you can view the bill of material either like this in a graphical way, or you can, if you're as me, a little bit more traditional, as a table view. And you can filter it so you can see exactly what, if you are someone working with the engineering side, you filter it on the design. And here you also see the product structure I talk about. So this is different packaging levels, and you have the actual medical device, so to say, in the bottom. And here you have the complete bill of material, both the engineering side and the manufacturing side. So the engineering side is the design-related data, and the manufacturing bill of material is the manufacturing related. It can be machines, in-process materials, etc. I also want to show a little bit, and I can actually refer back a little bit to what you showed this morning, Smita, together with Sandra, the market authorization part. So linked to our medical device product, we also have a regulatory grid. So here you can really see the different countries where we have registrations either approved or ongoing. And you also can see the different classifications in the different areas or countries. And you can also here release each of the variants, because maybe you don't want to release every variant to every country. And you can, of course, withdraw the market authorization as well if you need to do that for some reason. The last section I was going to talk about is change control. So we use all the digital change objects, change requests in 3DX. On the change request, you will add data. So for example, reason for the change, the proposed solution, but you can also add different attributes if you want to do follow-up and KPIs and such things. You also add candidate items. So that's the items you really want to change. And here you can do change assessments and drill down in your structure. Once the change request is reviewed and approved, you will have kind of a more detailed, you know what you want to change, then you have proposed changes. And the system actually creates something called change actions. Change actions is used to approve objects in the system. Also linked to the change request, you create change orders. And change orders is really, if you compare them to change actions we use to approve objects, but change orders is used to release objects. And the difference here is that you can have several change actions linked to one change order, which means that you can approve different objects at different times, but you release them all together when you release the change order. Also, one neat feature with the change request, change order, and change action objects is that you have these process steps. So it's really like a list of activities you need to do, steps to drive the change forward. And this is really helpful when you're doing this change control activities. You also have here, you can see what was the proposed change. And of course, when the change is going through, you will see what the actual realized change is. If I go back to the change order and just, you see there's also a link to the change request here. If I go back to the change request, so in order for a change request to be completed, first, I mean, you need to approve all the change actions. Once all the change actions that are linked to a change order is approved, you can approve the change order, which means that all the objects are implemented. And that's when you can complete, or when the change request is completed. So it is really a kind of digital process that we have achieved, and we also have scaled it depending on what type of products we are talking about.
It definitely feels like you have achieved a lot within the platform. But I have to ask you, this to me looks like a success story, but no success story is complete without the challenges that you might have faced. So what's your experience around that? How did people take in the solution?
I would say this change has been quite a journey. And like most changes, you know, I think everyone within our company has gone through all the emotions that you can see in this traditional change curve. So to facilitate this transition and change of mindset for our PLM user, we used our internal change management framework. It has 4 stairs: awareness, understanding, acceptance, and commitment. And in the coming slides, I will go cover some change management activities we did per step, so to say. On the awareness there, we focused on questions like, what is PLM? What is 3DX? What is this project about? And example of activities is we had open house sessions. We engaged our top management. We visited all our manufacturing sites. We made an internal promotional video with key stakeholders. We had a name the tool contest and so on. The next step, the understanding, we focused more on what we wanted to achieve with this project, and also convey to people really what's in it for me. So here we had open house sessions focusing on specific topics. It could be like bill of materials or change control and so on. We also had workshops in smaller teams on these specific topics. And of course, we did this cross-functional and on all levels in the company. On the acceptance there, we focused on providing users with hands-on experience and really get them to try the system out. So here we quite early identified key users throughout the company. So it was not only at the HQ, it was at the sites as well. And we involved them in workshops. We had dedicated trainings for them. We involved them in testing, for example, user acceptance tests. We also performed a pilot in our production environment. So we took one manufacturing site and one product group where we really did a couple of changes to see how it worked. And then, of course, we performed end user trainings with over 700 users in all these different sites, 3 different time zones. And we did it over 10 weeks. And all this in the middle of a pandemic, so it was quite challenging. The last step, the commitment step, is where we really want people to feel secure in their work and also to be able to support each other. And what we did here was we had feedback sessions from our pilot, and this was really to fine-tune our processes, system configurations, and training program. We also continue to establish our key user community. We introduced digital collaboration platforms like Yammer to support our end users. I would say all users have left the awareness there. We still have some people that are left on the understanding staircase, but most people are either on the acceptance or commitment level, I would say.
Wow, thank you, Anders. I think it was such an interesting journey to hear from you. And I have to say, I feel so proud and fortunate that I was actually part of this journey and I was able to contribute my bit on this journey. So yeah, feels very good to hear it from you. What next, Anders?
We were also happy to have you on board, Smita, during this project.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
So what are the plans for future?
Yeah, so we went live with 3D Experience globally in mid-May this year, and we have already received several requests for new functionality. And we have a roadmap, PLM roadmap under development. We also have initiated a continuous improvement program to really further fine-tune and improve some of the existing functionality and areas that we work with. We continue to build our user support framework, and especially focusing on the key user community and make them kind of supporting each other. And of course, training on all levels and for all users. I mean, even we that have been part of the project for quite a long time, we need to be trained in new things. And so the journey continues. So thank you, Smita. That was what I had to present.
Thank you so much, Anders, for giving us this insightful session. And I thank you all the audience who got the opportunity to join the session. And I would say stay tuned for the next session, where we are going to talk a bit more around managing the complexity in regulatory compliances and how you can actually effectively manage your documentation. A fantastic session will be delivered by Pieter Lovendal. And if you have any questions from the audience, I have to remind you that we have a panel discussion at 3:30 today, and please feel free to use the chat, post the questions to Anders, to Dan, or to our next speaker, and we will address all of them together. So thank you, Anders, and thank you from my side.
Thank you, Smita, and thank you, Technia.
Thank you.